why we must be leaders. One, because God wants your life to exemplify care. You have to be one that cares. Jim Rohn has one of the powerful presentations I've ever heard. I've always said it's called the 4 ifs that makes life worthwhile. If, the 4 ifs. And he said, 1, life is worthwhile. It means, in other words, life is worth living. 1, if you learn. The first one, it says learn. The second one, it said if you try. If you learn, if you try. And then the third one, it said if you stay. 1, you must learn to live. Life is not good for foolish people. Foolish people don't last for long. They don't last for long. They don't, am I making some sense? Because foolish people will walk into the street right now. Foolish people will be in relationship over and over and over until somebody stabs them or kills them or this thing. Yeah, because one broken heart is good life lesson for you. But if you go and you are in the 4th broken heart, you are a foolish person, pa. There's something, some wires are not touching very well. There's something off about you. It's not about the other people. There's something wrong with you. How? Why? If you're on the 4th broken heart, it's not a curse. You are a curse to your own self. It's you. It means you are not smart. You are not wise. You are not learning. You are not picking on the signs. Learning is synonymous to living. If you want to live, you got to learn. So he says, you must learn. 2, you must what? Try. He said, what's the use of learning something you're not willing to try? And he says, actually, you think you know, but you really don't know until you try. And that's one of the great mistakes of African is learning. We don't try what we know. We don't try what we know. We all know, right? We all know. We don't try what we know. And I don't want to stay here. I don't like to stay. We don't try what we know. Number 3. Even in ministry, and I preached for years. I can see the people who try what I say. So he said, what? Learn. Second word, try. Third is stay. He said, look, there's always a full term to everything. A degree, how long should you have to be there to get it? 4 years. Can you imagine you go inside 1, 2? He said, the lectures are so stressful, I'm coming out. Would you get a degree? How many of us consider coming out? There's times you consider coming out. You wanted to give up. But can you imagine if you had given up? By this time, you're still sitting here with your face like a wall and still don't have your degree. You'll be still sitting here without your degree. One of the major reasons why you have your degree is because you stayed for the full term. That's it. You stayed. That's it. Your lecture didn't change because of you. It's still your lecture. So difficult. As a matter of fact, after you, there are many more difficulty is going to give to other people. The only reason why you have the degree is you stayed. So he said, first one is what? Learn. 2, what? Try. The third one is what? Stay. And then he said the 4th one, he says care, which is on my point. Do you know what it says? It said if you want, you can do something. If you desire, you can do something. But if you care enough, that's the way he put it. He said you can make a great difference. So those that make difference in this world are those that care enough about issues. There are those that care enough about trees. Trees. So there are certain places when you're about to cut the trees, they have tied themselves and they've chained themselves to trees because they don't want trees to be cut. They care enough and they're making difference. I saw this picture of this couple in a valley somewhere in Southern America. I think the place had been degraded, no trees, and this couple for over 20 years plant planted the trees 20 years. And they made a difference. Some have been given the responsibility of ensuring that the rivers, the waters are good for human beings. They don't care. They don't care. The great tragedy of African leadership is that we have people who don't care about their people. People who don't care. They care. As for they care less. Their caring goes to negative. They care, but it's less. Hey, am I making some sense, somebody? If we're going to be the leaders that God has called us, we must care and care more about people, because it's only caring leaders that make a difference. Caring leaders make a difference. Because here's the way. The world is structured and stacked against you, especially for you, the African. The world is not structured for your benefit. Maybe let's have a wake-up call. Okay, can we bring water so everybody will wash their face? Because it looks like a lot of Africans are asleep. Let's wake up. Let's bring water and wake up and tell you that nobody cares about you whether I survive or not. You dare launch a bomb here. And see how many people come for your survival to come and help you. Nobody. They don't care about your listen. Nobody cares. So maybe you have to reorient yourself that we must care enough about our own self and care enough about our environment. Care enough about the one that is next to us. If ever there's going to be any what's the word? Any movement or any steering towards caring, it must come from us. It must come for us. Hey, am I making some sense, somebody? Shake your neighbor and say, you got to care. You have to care. You have to care. No, shake the one and tell the person, you have to care. You have to care. Yeah. You have to care to lead. Ladies, how many of you care about the next generation of young girls that are coming? You see, if you care about the next generation of young girls that are coming, you will not be showing your breasts in public. Do you know why? Because the next generation are going to learn from you, and they'll try to do more than you are doing. Yeah, they'll take the next level. You are putting it and showing here. They'll remove everything and just put a dot, something on their listen. Yeah. When you look at the way some people dress, they don't care about the next generation. A mother has breasts, but because she cares about the next generation, she covers it up. You must care. Hey, am I making some sense, somebody? Ladies, are you in the house? Next time you take a dress, 4-piece, and go and cut it as if you are sewing for a 2-year-old person. So when the devil is your designer, 4 yards or 5 yards, all the yards are on the ground. And then they remove everything. It's not reaching the breast. What kind of generation is this? Hey, am I making some sense? We have to care enough so that if a grown-up cares, he will not go and wear boxer shorts with his dick outside for everybody to see. I will talk about, look, read the Bible very well. Maybe you don't know. Go and read the prophets of old. The prophets of old were not just prophesying, I see that you're increasing. Read the Bible. They dealt with social, economic, and political issues of their time. That's why they were jailed. Yeah, the prophet of old. That's why the leaders of the time did not like them. Because they did not turn a blind eye to it. If God has called us as leaders, we must care enough about these things. Let's care enough about the next generation and put a restraint on ourselves. We have to care. You have to care. There's this organization where I met. It was a program that I met William, and today William is a leader. Now I met them. When I met them, you know what the woman says? She said, "Look, they noticed something that it's easy for you to complain about the way girls are dressing." Did the mothers ask themselves, what if she's not coming from a good home? What difference can we make? So they put themselves together. They said they are called the homemakers. And every year they organize a program to help the next generation. Yeah, am I making some sense, somebody? Yeah, you go, the mothers will gather them. They will buy food. They will do. A day they will call me to come and talk about sex, talk about everything, about the kids, and be with the kids. Every year they've done that for how many years? Because they are caring for the next generation. The question I want to ask you is that who are you caring about? When we call you to leadership, we say come and care enough about the next person. That's why you are called into leadership. And it's the selfish, self-centered attitude that makes you walk out of leadership and say you won't do it. Because you're not caring about anybody. But a leader must care. If we're going to make a difference, we must care. Don't waste your time walking this life selfishly. Look, every selfish person dies. Just like a compassionate person. Every selfish person will die. But I'm telling you, at your death, you must have enough people pointing to you and say, you were the light that gave them reason to shine. Hey, am I making some sense, somebody? Shake your neighbor and say, neighbor, are you a leader? Are you serving? Where are you serving? Ask the person. No, this is be serious and ask the person, give me an answer. Are you serving here? Ask the person, are you serving here? Where are you serving? What are you doing? What are you doing? Care enough to build relationship when you come for meeting. Care enough to build relationship when you come for me. Some people, they're just so selfish, you come, you alone. In the name of I'm not like that. I know in the name like this is the way me, this is the way I am. You are a selfish person. That's the way you are. And it's becoming very evident. You are a selfish person. If you care enough about people. By nature, honestly, I will not tell you that I'm a very social person. Because I had a lot of confidence issues. But I remember at the point in my life when I was growing up, and I remember that when I go to church, the church I used to go, I didn't like going to church because I felt I didn't know anybody. And you see, the larger the crowd, the more lonely you become. So when I started going to church more seriously, I became conscious of it. I decided to make a change. And one of the things I started doing was, at church, when I get to church, a friend, once we close the church, there's a place we'll go and start talking. As we are talking, anybody comes around that I know, I put them here. By the time I realized, well, plenty of people, after church, they come. It even made people look forward to coming to church. The problem that I realized, that was the reason why I wasn't going to church. I wanted to solve for other people too, so that they can come to church. That's how great leadership is born. That's all. Have you been abused by somebody? Why don't you start a movement that will help those that have been abused? Why don't you be a light? We've all hidden as this, and we made the other people rather are coming out and doing all manner of things. Maybe if you have stood out and start talking about abuse and sexual disease, a gay person will come and say, this is the way their life is. Maybe they are like that because a lot of believers didn't stand up to become light and deal with the issues. I want to make some sense, somebody. Yeah. So I want to get, my heart is that at the end of today, let's get young people who are compassionate enough. What is coming is worse than what you think you've been through. I'm telling you. What is coming through media, social, what is coming? Hi guys, God bless you for listening, and I hope it bless you. If you want to get the full message, I want you to go to all the podcast platforms and search for the Kingdom Move podcast. It will bless you. Do me a favor, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss anything that God has for you. God bless you, and I love you.